Hello again. We continue on the dynamic simulation of LAM models on this second video for week 5 lecture. So we have discussed in the previous video the Euler method. Now we're gonna continue with the Runge-Kutta method. So Runge-Kutta method can achieve a better accuracy compared to Euler method because it's basically having a error of with a higher order than the Euler method. So the advantage of the Runge-Kutta method is that it achieves the accuracy of a Taylor series approach without requiring the calculations of the higher derivatives. Again, the same formula for the Euler method is used in here, but the difference with the Euler method is that this Runge-Kutta method is containing a recurrence relationship. So in order for you to get K2, then you need to know the value of K1. Then for you to determine the value of K3, you need the value of K2 and K1. Then accordingly also for to get the value of Kn, then you need to get the value of the previous terms. P and Q in here is a constants. There are different types of Runge-Kutta methods available. So in fact, Euler method is a Runge-Kutta method, the first order with n equal 1. The second order Runge-Kutta method, for example, is using an increment functions with two terms. For the second order Runge-Kutta method, then the error is the order of step size raised to 3. For the fourth order Runge-Kutta method, the error will be on the order of the step size raised to 4. So that means that you don't need to use very low step size as in Euler method. So the fourth order Runge-Kutta method is one of the most commonly used Runge-Kutta method in here, with the formula of shown in this equations 22.44, and it involves obtaining the value of K1, K2, K3, and K4. This classical fourth order Runge-Kutta method is quite similar with the Simpson's 1/3 rule. Equation 22.44 is basically represented a weighted average of the slope. As you can see in here, K1 is represented by this slope in here. Then K2 is by this slope in here. K3 is by this slope in here. K4 is by this slope in here. And then the formula in here, things in here, is basically the average of these slopes. So we can go back to our previous problem that we solved using a Euler method, but this time we solve it using a Runge-Kutta method. I'm giving the detail of the derivations in my additional materials. You go into the first page. You can see in here, this is the same problem that we solved previously using the Euler method, except this time we use this Runge-Kutta, fourth order Runge-Kutta method. So let's assume that we use a step size of 1, where h is equal 1. Then we are given an initial conditions at t equals 0, y is equal 2. So we need to figure out what is K1. So K1 is f tan naught y naught. So you just input your initial conditions into these things in here to get K1 is equal 3. Then K2 requires K1. So you want to get, you put T naught is equal half multiplied by 1, y naught plus half multiplied by 3 plus multiplied by 1. So you go and basically match the terms with these things in here. So you put all these things, then you get K2 is equal 4.217. And then K3 requires K2. Then go back into this original equations here by matching all this term in here and then put in the value of this h is equal 1. Okay, so this h is equal 1. And then 1 is K2, 4.217, and then h is 1 again in here, and we have half term in here. then we put in these terms in here, we get that this Pi P1 plus half H will be equal half, then this Y naught plus half K2 multiplied by H will be equal to 4.1085, and then we substitute back into our term in the right hand side in here, then we can get the K3 is equal 3.913. So K4 requires K3, then once we get all the 4K, then we can calculate our Y1, 6.20. Then we have the analytical solutions already derived on our previous example, and we get this Y1 is equal 6.195. When we measure the error, we get a very small error of only 0.0917. So this method is much more accurate than the Euler method. In Euler method, we have a very high error of about 20% more. But this Runge-Kutta method, the calculations is not quite straightforward because you have a recurrence relationship in here. That's why using calculator, or in this case using a MATLAB and a computer program, will be very convenient because you can automate the calculations. So then after we derive these things, we move into our next example. We implement the fourth order Runge-Kutta method into a MATLAB. So we use the one tank example that we derive on our Euler method. So here, see in this Euler method in here, the one tank method is this equations in here we derived previously. This is what we're gonna use to compare with the Euler method. One tank MATLAB function model has been derived already, so we just need to create another MATLAB M file, call it in here example3.2.m. Then we're gonna use a program developed by John Matthews already. It's called rk4.m. Now in here, the same notation that we use in the Euler method, this one refers to the left, this one right endpoint. So this will be your initial condition. This will be where the point where you stop. And then this one is the initial condition, the concentration at time t equals 0, and this one is the step size. Then we create a figure and plot these two, where one is using 10 step size and another one is using 100 step size. So these are the result of your Runge-Kutta method. As we can see, even at a step size as small as 0. As step size of 1, or basically a step size of the number of steps in here as number of steps of 10, then the curve is already quite smooth already. But the one with 100 steps is definitely much better. But this basically shows that the fourth order Runge-Kutta method is superior to the Euler method. Then we can also solve an unsteady state mode. This one is the program file given by Matthews. You can put, you need to save this thing into your MATLAB folder in order for you to be able to run that the previous M file, example3.2.m. Another example again, let's say we have a basic stirred tank with the non-volumetric flow rate of F1 and a non-volumetric outlet flow rate of F2, and we want to determine the level Z of the fluid in the tank as a function of time. So we do a mass balance where we know that the accumulations will be equal to the rate of mass in minus rate of mass out. You need to verify this, the unit of this term in here and the unit of this term in here. By assuming that rho is constant and A is constant, then this rho and A can be taken out of the brackets. And then if we define in here that the outlet flow rate is equal to 0.27 and the the initial height is 30 meter, and we will use a time varying input flow in the form of the sinusoidal wave, where B is equal 0.027 and C is equal 0.27 and W is equal 1 meter. The cross-sectional area A is equal 0.9 meter square. Then we can solve this using, we can basically make the mass balance simplified into this form with the initial conditions of this. Then this will be the functions we use to define the differential equations for the height of the tank. This example 33.m shows how you solve the unsteady state model using a toolbox ODE45 that is available in MATLAB already. 0 in here refers to the initial time, and 100 in here is refers to the end time. And then we here in this program, this ABFWC refers to the value of the parameters, and F is referring to your differential equations. And here basically the two lines in here is basically showing the different plots. 30 in here is the initial value of the height of the fluid in the tank. Go back again in here, this 30 in here is the initial condition. So this will be the result of what you have. This will be your Z that varies with time from 0 to 100. This will be the flow rate 0 to 100. We can change this dimension containing equations into the dimensionless variables. Practice will be better if we want to limit the variable magnitude to within 1. We want to improve the understanding. Then we can define a new dimensionless time and dimensionless volumetric flow rate as follows. Then we can also find the residence time of the tank. The detail of this, how to derive these things, is given in my additional materials. So we 5 additional materials, you go into the page 3 in here, where you can convert into the dimensional variable, and then what will happen with the simplified differential equations as well in here. So after the simplifications, then we get the final dimensionless differential equations with this, and we also have a value of several variables as follows. We have a very simple form of equations like this. First, in terms of the dimensionless height, then we define another two functions in here, tank 32.m, which defines the dimensional unsteady state tank model, and then also example 3.4.m, which solve this dimensionless basic tank model using ODE45. Then with this example being run, then we get this dimensional rate and the dimensionless tank height. Dimensional inflow rate is this one, and the dimensional tank height is this. So clearly the variations in the inflow rate is a bit higher than the variations in dimensionless tank height. This conclude this part 2 of the 5 video, and my next video I will continue other example of the oscillation column dynamic. Thanks for listening.